Hello and welcome to another Brett Plays video. I'm going to do another showcase of an imported aircraft. So you may recognise this. Textures aren't all there, but the XB-70. So North American XB-70, it just says there on the screen. Now this is actually a FS9 import that I have modified to actually work in Microsoft Flight Sim. Not the best flight model, probably a fairly dated textures, but to be honest, I mean, it's white with a few decals on. You know what, if I don't press this, it's going to get going. Alright, hello everybody, we might just lose you guys on there. Can we get into the cockpit? There we go. Okay, so I can put the brake on this. I can put my park brake on. No, it was already on, and we can't stop this. So let's have a look at the cockpit in the air. What we will do is to get this thing going. Now we will need the full flaps setup, which is actually the wings all the way up. Without that, I think I'll have trouble taking off, even though it's immensely powerful. I'm going to have a very tentative. We are not going to launch. No. Yeah, we're going to crash already. Look at that. So before we do, Brett's going to get it in the air. I told you it has a bad flight model characteristics. So there we go. We're in the air. Yeah. That's kind of what's needed for this thing. So even though it gets going, I'm currently doing 600 knots ground speed. 650. I'm watching on a separate screen where I've got it marked. Now I'm just passing. No, yep, just passing 700 knots, fully flaps down. So what I'll do is, because I want to try and land this as well, I'm going to get out over the ocean here. 740 knots on a high angle bank, full flaps, or basically wings completely up. Take 2 levels down. You can see the canards move. We'll do that again. There, you can see that there's a lift on the front. To be honest, it may actually be back the front, because the more I come down, the more my canard, the front, faces down. I'll have to have a look at the real thing, old footage or documentaries. But we're currently doing 888 knots out past Sydney. What I'll do is I'll straighten up here. I'm at altitude is 6,000 feet, or just under. What we'll do is we'll put on a autopilot, hold the heading and altitude. This is what happens when you put your flaps all the way up. Okay, didn't like doing that direction. Okay, let's hold this way. I'm now doing 1,000 knots ground speed. This thing gets going. But to land back at that airport, we're going to have to get a nice and decent that. Thank you. A nice decent run in. Okay, textures don't come over in it's a FS9. Obviously it's not going to come over, but different buttons will press if you have controls for them. My flaps, that does move. My throttle does actually move. You can look around. There's not much in the way of default views. There's some, I don't know, way back view. Actually, that's it, 2 way back views. Not to be flying from outside anyway. Okay, so we're still 6,000 feet altitude, and we're doing 1,140 knots. This thing absolutely gets going. Imagine if I was up at 60,000. Might be an idea to climb, since I am going to have to turn. Not really a practical aircraft for flight simulator. Obviously, I'm now climbing at 1,040 knots. We're already past 13, 14, 15, and we had a pause, 16, 17. Yeah, that's how fast we're going. Alright, let's turn around before we lose Sydney altogether. Show you what it's like to try and land. Now I found that the moment you put your landing gear down, we get so much drag that we lose all the lift. If you look at those front canards, they're facing down. I'm wondering if maybe it's slightly back to front when it comes and put it over here. Doing a turn here is not overly easy. 30,000 feet, 800 knots. We'd be almost ripping this thing apart trying to do a nice tight turn. Or passing out by the G's. But hey, it's an XB-70 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And yes, it is flyable. Barely. Those rear ailerons just way too big and they don't seem to work very well. It's almost as if you need to have this going fairly fast in order to turn it properly. Alright, where's Sydney Harbour? I've already lost it. We're now doing 1,000 knots trying to turn. Take 2 levels of flaps. Might actually give me some more control. Now, I've actually had this particular FS9, so that's Flight Simulator 2004 version, FS9 file. I've had this since 2004. So I initially downloaded this zip file. I've kept all my zip files from way back then. I don't know where I got it from. I assume I got it from... we're now getting a few frames to stop there. Probably when we're going so fast we're loading back Sydney. Yeah, there we go. Probably got it from Flyaway Simulations because I was getting a lot of their files way back at the beginning. I will read out some information that is in the README. So this is an FS 2002 to 2004 North American. So it might have been originally FS 2002. This aircraft was shaped to flight Mark 3, remaining within its Mark cone throughout the flight regime, using the shockwave beneath the wings to generate compression lift. We could probably actually get some more of that compression lift because we're actually back down at 5,600 feet. You can barely see the flashing lights of the airport as it is. The wingtips could be folded down 65 degrees to increase this compression lift and also to provide greater directional stability. Unfortunately, only 2 prototypes were built, and despite their exceptional performance, the XB-70 program had to be cancelled after 130 missions. Obviously, test flights. Lost the airports. We're going to come in from this angle. Okay. Let's just see if I can move this out of the way. I am coming in still at 750 knots. Not good. The XB-70 program had been cancelled after 130 missions when a F-104 collided and destroyed the second prototype during a photo shoot. Kind of sucks. Even so, the XB-70 provided invaluable high-speed test flight data. This model includes a detailed virtual cockpit. It doesn't come over to Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim now, 2020. Loader gauge, folding wingtips, variable nose cone. It does actually move the nose. Complex movement for gear, retractant and reflective textures. Gauges, sounds. So if you have the original, it's all in there. Okay, I'm still coming at 600 knots. So we're going to have to hit the air brakes, which you can see at the back there between the tail. This aircraft looks kind of like what they modelled the Clint Eastwood Firefox movie on, I believe. 372 knots. Now the moment I drop my landing gear, we're going to fall out of the sky, so I'm going to drop it as much as possible. Alright, right there. and now I have no more lift. And we're going to crash right on the nose. That would have destroyed it. And now, look at this. There is no way to actually stay on the ground. This thing seems to have so much lift. I can't stay on the ground. It wants to lift. I think because the front wings are facing the wrong way. Actually, I've got to stay on the ground. Now, engines off is going to be the only way I can stop this. I've tried this several times. If anybody's been here in Sydney on Sunday the 13th of March and saw this idiot flying back and forth and bouncing on the runway, terribly sorry. I'm trying to get this plane to actually land. Alright, and then we can start that back up. So what I would suggest, if you do want to get this particular file, look for an FS9, so Flight Sim 9, XB-70 file, and convert it the same way I did the B2 on my latest how-to guide. That will actually help you get this to work. So what we'll do is we'll use some right brake. It doesn't turn all that well, especially when the engines get going, but we'll use them enough to park in here next to, I think there's a Finnair A320, and that is the XB-70. If you've got any questions, put comments down below. Come to my Discord if you need help getting it into the sim. You know, put some comments down below if you go, that is just too ridiculous, or whatever you want to put, I don't mind. It is ridiculous, and I probably won't keep it in my sim because it is just a bit too much, no. Yeah, you know what I mean. C-17 coming in for landing. Whoa, we're going to take out Mr. Shell. No. I missed the parking spot. But we will take out the little yellow vehicle. There we go. Welcome to Sydney, the XB-70. Probably should put those park brakes on. Bit of fun, bit of a muck around. Lots of flap levels, and I'm not so sure they're right. So it doesn't look like the window moves its angles. Wow. Alright, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. All the rest, you know. Cheers. Have a great day. Bye.